Hey there, what's up English learners? Welcome along to 5 Lesson Friday. I'm Ajarn Ken, and today we've got something really awesome for you. Every single Friday we drop 5 short but powerful lessons that's really going to boost your English skills fast. And today we're diving into must-know expressions and idioms and vocabulary that's really going to help you with your professional English, whether it's for your IELTS exams, for interviews, or just for generally better conversations. Now, each video lesson is packed with tips and tricks, and you definitely don't want to miss it. So hit the subscribe button, smash the like button, and share this video with all your friends who are learning English. If you've got any questions or topics you want me to cover, drop them in the comments below, and I'll do my best for you. And also don't forget to visit fluesl.com, F-L-U-E-S-L.com. And there you can take short practice tests and quizzes for 5 Lesson Friday, which will really reinforce what you have just learned. So, alrighty then, let's jump in to our first lesson. Have you ever been unsure about someone's story, but you decided to trust them anyway? That's giving someone the benefit of the doubts. Hey, so we're going to learn this very thoughtful idiom to give someone the benefit of the doubt. Have you ever chosen to trust someone even though you had some little doubts? If so, you've given them the benefit of the doubt. Now, this expression is perfect for describing trust in someone despite some uncertainty. So let's have a look at a couple of examples. Imagine someone is telling a story that just seems unlikely. There's something there that you think, maybe I don't believe it. You could say, even though the story seems unlikely, she gave him the benefit of the doubt. Even though the story seemed unlikely, she gave him the benefit of the doubt. And this indicates choosing to trust someone despite having some doubts, despite thinking not. So even though the story seemed unlikely, she gave him the benefit of the doubt. So this expression really conveys, a nuanced expression of trust. Another example is about trusting someone's explanation. I wasn't sure about his explanation, but I decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. I wasn't sure about his explanation, but I decided to give him the benefit of the doubt. And this describes trusting someone's word despite your initial skepticism, despite your initial doubt. You trust them, but perhaps there was a little doubt in your mind, but you trust them anyway. You give them the benefit of the doubt. So let's look at how you can use this idiom in other situations like an IELTS exam or everyday conversations. In an IELTS speaking test, you might describe a situation where you choose to trust someone. For example, although I had my doubts, I gave him the benefit of the doubt and believed his intentions were good. Although I had my doubts, I gave him the benefit of the doubt and believed his intentions were good. So I had a doubt about him. I wasn't sure, but I said, okay, I will trust you. I believe that what you were trying to do was good. So although I had my doubts, I gave him the benefit of the doubt and believed his intentions were good. And this will show your IELTS examiner that you can describe trust and decision making. And in everyday conversations, you might talk about extending trust despite uncertainty. You could say, I decided to give her the benefit of the doubt and see how things turned out. I decided to give her the benefit of the doubt and see how things turned out. And using this expression not only makes your English sound much more natural, but also adds a thoughtful and considerate touch to your language. So let's explore some synonyms and some antonyms. Synonyms for give someone the benefit of the doubt might include vocabulary such as trust or believe. Now these are very, very similar, but using the expression to give someone the benefit of the doubt, this adds a much more nuanced and thoughtful expression of trust. It's better. On the other hand, antonyms, opposites, might include phrases like doubt or mistrust. And these expressions or these vocabulary describe situations where trust is not there. The trust is withheld. So exactly the opposite of benefit of the doubt. So there we go. Next time you want to describe extending trust despite having uncertainty, remember to say you're giving someone the benefit of the doubt. It's an excellent way to impress while having a conversation and add some depth to your language. Whoa, ever feel like someone was rushing into something too quickly? Sometimes you need to say, whoa, hold your horses. Hold your horses. So we're going to look at this very, very practical idiom, to hold your horses. Have you ever needed to tell someone to slow down or to wait? If so, you've told them to hold your horses. Now this idiom is perfect for advising patience and caution. Let's have a look at a couple of examples. Now imagine someone is very, very eager to make a decision quickly. You could say, whoa, hold your horses. Let's think this through before making a decision. Hold your horses. Let's think this through before making a decision. And this would advise someone to have patience and careful consideration before they act. Hold your horses. Let's think this through before making a decision. So we're telling someone to slow down, to think before they take action. Another example is about someone who is eager to start something new. She was so excited to start, but I told her to hold her horses until we had all the details. She was so excited to start, but I told her to hold her horses until we had all the details. And this suggests, I guess, waiting for more information before proceeding. She was so excited to start, but I told her to hold her horses until we had all the details. So where else can we use this in an IELTS exam or everyday conversation? Let's have a look. In an IELTS speaking task, you might describe a situation where patience was needed. So for example, before finalising our plans, I suggested that we hold our horses and review everything carefully. Before finalising our plans, I suggested we hold our horses and review everything carefully. And this will show the examiner that you can express the need for patience and the need for caution. So before finalising our plans, I suggested that we hold our horses and review everything carefully. And in everyday conversations, you might talk about advising someone to wait. You could say, hold your horses, let's wait for the official announcement before making any decisions. Hold your horses, let's wait for the official announcement before making any decisions. So using this idiom not only makes your English sound much more natural, but also adds a very friendly and conversational tone to your language. So let's have a look at some synonyms and antonyms. Vocabulary that's similar, vocabulary that's the opposite. Some synonyms or similar expressions for hold your horses might include wait a moment or be patient. Wait a moment or be patient. And these are very, very similar, but I guess hold your horses adds a much more conversational touch. So hold your horses. On the other hand, we've got antonyms, the opposites. These might include phrases like to rush ahead or to act quickly. Now, these expressions describe situations where there is no delay. Exactly the opposite to hold your horses. So there we have it. Next time you want to advise patience, remember to say, hold your horses. It's an excellent way to impress during a conversation and add a really friendly conversational tone to your language. Have you ever looked back at a decision and thought, if only I knew then what I know now? That's what we call hindsight. In hindsight. And today we're going to learn a very reflective phrase, in hindsight, or with hindsight, both are the same. Have you ever realized something important only after an event has happened? If so, you've experienced hindsight. And hindsight is a perfect phrase for discussing lessons that you've learned from past experiences. Okay, you've learned some lessons from past experiences with hindsight. Let's have a look at a couple of examples. Imagine someone thinking about a job offer and they did not accept. You could say, in hindsight or with hindsight, I realized that I should have taken that job offer. In hindsight or with hindsight, I realize I should have taken that job offer. And this reflects on the past decision with understanding now, with newfound understanding. With hindsight, I realize I should have taken that job offer, but I didn't. I regret it. Another example could be about a group decision. They thought it was a good idea at the time, but with hindsight, it wasn't the best choice. They thought it was a good idea at the time, but in hindsight or with hindsight, it wasn't the best choice. And this describes a change in perspective after the outcome is known. They thought it was a good decision at the time, but with hindsight, looking back, it wasn't the best choice. So let's have a look at a couple of examples we can use in different situations, like an IELTS exam or everyday conversation. In an IELTS writing task, for example, you might discuss lessons learned from the past. For example, in hindsight, or with hindsight, we realised our initial plan had several flaws. In hindsight, we realised our initial plan had several flaws, several problems, several things that weren't right, flaws. And this expression here, this sentence here, would show the examiner that you can reflect on past decisions thoughtfully. With hindsight, we realised our initial plan had several flaws. And in everyday conversations, you might talk about something you've learned after the fact, after it's happened. You could say, in hindsight, I see I should have been more careful. With hindsight, I see I should have been more careful. You're talking there that you've learned something about your experience. I should have been more careful with hindsight. So using this phrase not only makes your English sound much more natural, but also adds a reflective and insight tone to your language. So let's have a look at a couple of synonyms and antonyms. Synonyms or similar expressions for in hindsight or with hindsight might include looking back or with the benefit of hindsight. Very similar. So if you use in hindsight, it adds a much more concise and reflective tone. Antonyms, the opposites, on the other hand, might include phrases like at the moment or in real time. And these expressions describe situations where decisions are made without the advantage of hindsight. So next time you want to discuss I guess lessons that you've learned from the past, remember to use in hindsight. It's a great way to impress during a conversation and really add some depth to your English skills. Have you ever struggled or found something difficult and it was really, really simple though? And then you've realized, hey, this isn't rocket science. So we're going to learn this light-hearted phrase. It's not rocket science. Have you ever been told that something isn't as complicated as it seems? If so, you've been told it's not rocket science. It's not as complicated as it seems. Now, this idiom, this phrase is perfect for describing tasks that are simple and straightforward. So let's have a look at a couple of examples. Imagine someone struggling with a simple task, a very easy task. And they're really struggling, they're finding it difficult. You could say, come on, you can figure this out. It's not rocket science. Come on, you can figure this out. It's not rocket science. It's easier than you think. This emphasizes that the task is simple and straightforward. Come on, you can figure this out. It's not rocket science. It's very, very easy. It's not difficult. It's very easy. So this phrase is encouraging someone to tackle something simple. It's a very encouraging phrase. Another example is about learning new software. Learning how to use the new software isn't rocket science. Learning how to use the new software isn't rocket science. And this suggests that the software is easy to learn. So let's have a look at how we can use this phrase in different situations within an IELTS exam and everyday conversations. In an IELTS speaking task, you might describe something that's easy to understand. For example, the instructions were very clear and simple. It's not rocket science. The instructions were very clear and simple. It's not rocket science. And this shows the examiner you can describe simplicity or simple things effectively. The instructions were clear and simple. It's not rocket science. And in everyday conversations, you might talk about a task that doesn't require much effort. You could say, cooking this dish is easy. It's not rocket science. Cooking this dish is easy. It's not rocket science. Very easy. So using this phrase not only makes your English sound more natural, but also adds a very light but encouraging tone to your language. Very, very friendly. So let's have a look at some synonyms and antonyms, similar and opposite expressions. Synonyms or similar expressions for it's not rocket science might include it's simple, it's straightforward. And these are very, very similar to it's not rocket science, but it's not rocket science adds a much more encouraging tone. We've got antonyms. The opposites might include phrases such as it's complicated or it's challenging. Now, these expressions here describe tasks that are much more difficult to understand. Exactly the opposite for it's not rocket science. So next time you want to describe something simple, remember to say it's not rocket science. It's a great way to impress your listeners and add some flair to your language. Have you ever tackled a big project and realised it's all about taking it step by step? We're going to look at this great methodical phrase, step by step. Have you ever worked on something that required careful, gradual progress? If so, you did it step by step. Now, this phrase is perfect for describing processes that require patience and gradual effort. So let's have a look at a couple of examples. Imagine someone is working on improving their English skills, like you. You could say, You'll improve your English skills step by step with regular practice. You'll improve your English skills step by step with regular practice. And this sentence describes gradual improvement with consistent effort. Gradual improvement consistently. You'll improve your English skills step by step with regular practice. Another example could be about problem solving. We're solving the problem step by step rather than rushing to a solution. We're solving the problem step by step rather than rushing to a solution. Now, this highlights the importance of taking gradual, measured actions. We're solving the problem step by step rather than rushing through or rushing to a solution. So let's see how we can use it in other situations like an IELTS exam or everyday conversation. In an IELTS writing task, you might describe a process that requires careful effort. For example, building a strong argument requires presenting your ideas step by step. Building a strong argument requires presenting your ideas step by step. And this will show the examiner that you can describe gradual processes effectively. Building a strong argument requires presenting your ideas step by step. And in everyday conversations, you might talk about achieving something through gradual progress. You could say, we'll get there step by step. Let's not rush it. We'll get there step by step. Let's not rush it. So using this phrase not only makes your English sound much more natural, but adds a thoughtful and methodical touch to your language. So what synonyms do we have for step by step? Well, we've got gradually and incrementally. Gradually, incrementally. Now these are very similar, but step by step offers a more visual and methodical expression. Antonyms, on the other hand, the opposites, might include all at once or rushed. These expressions, vocabulary here, describe situations where actions are taken quickly without gradual progress. So there we have it. Next time you want to describe a gradual process, remember to say it's happening step by step. It's an excellent way to impress during a conversation and add some natural expressions to your language skills. So there we have it, 5 Lesson Friday for this Friday. I really hope you've enjoyed that and you've picked up one or two things that you've maybe not known in the past. Some of these things are really excellent. Remember, if you want to try some of the quizzes and activities for 5 Lesson Friday, head along to flueso.com and there you'll be able to take very short and quick practice lessons to check your understanding and the uses of all this great vocabulary. If you have any questions you want me to cover or any topics, let me know. I'm more than happy to do so. And remember, you can subscribe to 5 Lesson Friday at flueso.com. So that's it for this week. Look forward to seeing you on 5 Lesson Friday next time. Bye for now.